We are in Matthew Street in Liverpool, and I'm actually standing outside of the door to what used to be Eric's Club, which is where we played our first gig, where we invented OMD to play at this place. And it was, of course, the club where we all used to come. The Bunnymen and the Teardrops played within a month of us playing here as well. This was a place I saw Devo play their first English concert, and all of the influential bands that we could get to come to town played here, apart from Kraftwerk, who played the big theatre down the road. And then literally 10 yards away is the Cavern Club. You've got Eric's and the Cavern right across the road from each other. When Paul and I started being interested in electronic music, we were very young. We had no money, and it was totally unrealistic to think about getting, you know, the big kind of keyboards that you saw on TV or on stage with some of the keyboard players in the 70s. My mother had a K's mail-order catalogue, and they had some synthesizers. Our first Korg Micro preset was bought from my mother's catalogue for 36 weeks at $7.76 a week, I seem to recall.
This was the first synth, and we'd made really the first 2 albums with this, you know, and it's like, it's quite a basic synth. Can you believe that's the record?
The major record labels largely ignored synth music, forcing bands like OMD to look to newly formed indies instead. In 1978, OMD would sign to Factory. A movement of sorts was beginning to coalesce.
I think the first wave of bands that sort of came out of the closet in the late 70s, we were all working independently of each other. There was no unified movement. It didn't all start in one club or one town. There was no gang of people who all had a manifesto that we were going to do the new British electronic music. It was small pockets of people in different parts of the country who were independently, obviously listening to the same things.
I did make an electronic drum machine, but I'd seen Kraftwerk with their sticks. So I thought, I can make one of those, and so I did. And so some of the early sort of synth drums was this sort of very Heath Robinson-looking box with all these plates on there with these sort of sticks with wires that we did the drums to electricity.
We were horrified when Tony Wilson said, you know, what you do is the future of pop. We were like, pop? Yeah, we're experimental, German-influenced. You know, we're not pop at all. How dare you call us pop? We were absolutely mortified. We couldn't see it at all. Totally by accident, Paul and I guess others at the time, had distilled the electronic experimentation and the kind of glam pop of Britain from just a few years earlier into what was going to become, which didn't seem at the time, but was going to become the future of pop music.